Hi and welcome to another card making video. Today I'm featuring the Simon Says Stamp Card Kit for December, and it is packed with wonderful products. First of all, let's take a look at the stamp set. A great stamp set full of beautiful sentiments for the holidays, along with a flower composition that would be beautiful if you emboss it with gold on darker cardstock. I am going to show you another fun product included. These are the adhesive transfers. I did use it in one of my previous videos, so you don't really need to have a laminator. You can transfer the designs by just using your die cutting machine, and you get all these colors as you can see in the packaging of the foiling. I will be using that on today's video. Now you also get a 3D embossing folder in a lovely pine cone design. These are the designs that I absolutely love. I find them really versatile that you can use again and again. And let's move on to a little bag included in the kit. You will find here those candy canes. These are from a Holtz product. And you will also find these dies. This is a set of dies that will help you put together a Santa, and I will be using those so you can see how you can put together Santa. I absolutely love those candy canes as well. And here's a little surprise for you. If you haven't got the new color by Holtz, here it is for you. And this is the original distress ink, not the oxide one. Then you get this which looks like velvet, and I think it is great to combine it with Santa for his beard, and that's what I will do for today's video. There is a white envelope included, and let's take a look at the paper pad. Now these are 6x6 papers, they are double-sided, and they feature a lovely holiday theme. If you do follow my videos, you know that I absolutely love pattern paper, and I try to find ways on how I can use it from every one of those kits that I get monthly. So that's what I will do today as well. So you will see many of these papers being used in today's card. Finally, you get a white and a red colored cardstock. And let's start making a fun card. I will start by using the dies, and my plan is to use the Santa as the focal point on a cluster card. I will cut out both of those dies from white cardstock, but also the detailed die. I will use it on the velvet paper so that I can add some texture. So I cut out the outline from paper, the detailed one out of paper again, and then one more time from velvet so that I can use the white parts. Now for his hat I will use a little piece of this pattern paper so that I can paper piece that as well. And since I will be using papers from this paper pad for the background and to create my composition, it is always nice to somehow bring the same look and feel on my focal point, which is the Santa's head. Now I'm going to put together the whole thing, so I'm sticking everything on top of the outline. I will first stick the little pieces of white paper, and I do that because I want to add dimension, and then on top I'm going to stick the white velvet pieces. So one after another I'm going to piece Santa together, and for that I'm using my matte glue just because I know that it dries completely matte, it is transparent, and it actually disappears if you make a little bit of a mess. So again you can see here on his beard, to make it look dimensional, on the outline I stick first a white piece of cardstock, then on top the velvet, and hopefully you can see the beautiful result. Maybe you can see that texture coming through the camera. Now of course for some parts I need to add color, so for example on his face I'm going to use alcohol markers and color it, as well as for the eyes, and here is the finished look. With a white gel pen I'm just adding a couple of dots on his eyes. I feel like if you do that on your cutouts, either they are persons or animals, it really brings them to life. And now I'm going to put my Santa aside and I will work with the pattern paper. From this paper I'm going to cut out some bits and pieces. You can see that it comes with different parts that I'm going to separate so that I can create clusters later on. So I cut out the one that says 25 and it has a little tab on top. Now I'm cutting out a tag that says ho 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 and other bits and pieces that I like so that I can layer one on top of the other. So here is what I have. I do have some poinsettias, as you can see, that I have cut out from one of the pattern papers. And then if you want to make your composition fuller, you can add other bits and pieces using dies that you have in your stash. So here I have those mistletoe leaves as well as a couple of snowflakes, but these are really not necessary. If you don't have such dies, you don't have to cut out extra elements. Now for my background, I'm going to work with this pattern paper. I'm going to use a stitched rectangle die to cut out a panel, which is slightly smaller than a standard card. And then on top I'm going to create my composition. The main parts are going to be the number 25 as well as the Santa's head. So I'm going to put those down by using foam tape at the back, and I will make sure that I don't add foam tape all the way. So this way I am able to tack underneath those elements other layers if I need to. Creating clusters with elements from the same collection is one of my favorite things when it comes to card designing. I always find it so fun to try and somehow combine all the different elements to create something pleasing to the eye. Now here in the beginning I thought I wanted to use this candy cane, but at the end of the day I'm not going to use it. I feel like it didn't fit with the design. So I will go ahead and add the poinsettias as well as the snowflakes and the extra leaves that I have cut out. And of course in every Christmas card you'll need a little bit of blink, of sparkle, so that's why I'm going to add some gems at the center of the poinsettias. The ones that I'm using here are by Spellbinders. They are self-adhesive and they come in a variety of sizes, so depending on the size of the poinsettia I'm picking a different size. Now finally I'm going to create a base so that I can mat my panel. I'm using again the same pattern paper that I used to cut out the hat for the Santa. This way everything is going to come together nicely. So I'm going to cut this to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I will mat my panel by using foam tape in between. And I usually like to create the whole panel that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I just stick it on top of a pre-folded white card base that's again 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And now all that's left to do is to add a sentiment. For that I'm going with the transfers that were included in the kit. So I'm choosing the one that I want to use. With my scissors I'm going to separate it with the rest of the designs and just store them away. Now this one you can easily peel it off and you can stick it on any cardstock that you like. I'm going with this scrap paper. Just stick it down and then you can run this through your die cutting machine. Any die cutting machine will do the trick as long as you use the sandwich that you use for your thin dies. All the die cutting machine does is just apply some pressure, so behind the letters there is adhesive and this is going to transfer on the cardstock. Now the kit comes with lots of foils. Choose your favorite. I'm going with the red one since it matches lovely with the colors of my card. Just cut out a little piece. Now it's time to peel off the transfer. You cannot see that, but the glue is already transferred on my cardstock. I'm going to place the foil on top and run it one more time through my die cutting machine. Again, I'm using the sandwich, which is meant to be used for thin dies. What that does is to apply pressure and the foil transfers on the glue that is already there. So you do end up with a foiled sentiment without actually using a foiling machine or a laminator. So now I'm going to cut it out to be a thin strip of sentiment and stick it on top of my project. Here are some close-up photos on today's card. I hope that you had fun, that you got inspired. A list of supplies can be found down below just like always. Thank you all so much for joining me and I'll see you all next time.